offensive lineman, maybe compared to what you expected last year in terms of like how do you deploy offensive linemen in the system?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for Coach Kelly is you got to be smart, you got to know your assignment. That's kind of the starting point. So we kind of all got together. We've been learning, we're still learning, but it just kind of starts with knowing our assignment, knowing the guy next to you is going to know his, and then execute. That's the biggest thing. Just knowing where to be, when to be there, knowing the guy next to you is going to do his assignment, so you don't have to worry about that as well.
Kind of life in the NFL, but you have a whole year, you learn the system, and then you're like, oh no, you got to do something now. Like, I guess what is that process like?
Just for me, just being able to adapt at any moment. Like I said, we've all been kind of going through it together. Just realizing I'm not the only one. That's kind of doing this. So just leaning on guys like Kappa and Colin. Just relying on those guys and their knowledge to kind of help me out and. Just being able to adapt and change, and I feel like we're going smooth so far.
How different is for you coming into camp, knowing you have a job as compared to like last year, where it's like, hey, you got to fight for your time up there?
Really, I don't look at it any different. I know how quick things can change. So if I came out here and I was comfortable and complacent, the next guy's behind me ready to go. So still striving to get better. And kind of looking at it like I'm still fighting for a job. Even though I came in as the right tackle, my job is to stay there.
How does it make you feel when you're going up against Max in practice every day, kind of getting you prepared for what's coming up on game day?
Yeah, I love it. It's like game competition every day. So like you said, it's going to do nothing but get me ready. I know Max kind of looks for me to push him. I look for him to push me 100%. He's one of the best players in the league. So, I love going against him. I know it's only going to make me better in the end, get me ready for the season. So, I look forward to it each day.
Does he treat you any differently now? Like you're a second-year guy?
Max only has one speed, so, it's the same. But we love it. We love it.
Obviously, you haven't been pageant, but what have you seen from Ashton that was possible?
It's real. He was picked, sixth overall for a reason. Like I said, we haven't been in pads, but I believe he's going to be able to do great things. We'll get pads. I'm excited to see him. He goes when he gets to hold, he goes. So, just been excited to go out there and try to create space for him. And I'm looking forward to what he can do.
He seems like he has quite a bit of confidence. How important is that, especially for rookie coming out?
It's huge. It's huge. If you don't have any confidence, then you probably, you're not going to know your assignment. You're not going to know where to be. So, for him to have that and just be able to play freely, it's huge. It's huge for him to come in and. He trusts us up front. We trust him to do what he has to do. So, hopefully we continue to gel and build our relationship.
How is Alex Kappa, adding into this offensive line? How has he been able to help in terms of kind of presence and just kind of like adding?
He's got experience. He's played many years. So, just another guy you can go to if you have a question or if you need something. Him playing beside me, we talk all the time. So it's been huge just to have another guy like that who can, just talk, feel through things, we learn the plays together. I feel like it's helped out a lot, especially with me playing beside him. But in meetings or whatever, he'll see a young guy do something, he'll speak up, he'll talk. So I feel like it's been huge and impacted the whole game.
Obviously, you're still fighting for your spot, like you said. You're not complacent. When you look at this offensive line, who are some young guys behind you that you really like that you're trying to take underneath your wing?
I feel like Charles is great. He came in, he did some great things. Just for him to continue to develop him, Caleb. Those guys just come in with energy, ready to go each day, willing to learn, asking questions. So, guys like that who ask questions, who are willing to learn, you just want to pour into them. And for me, it's going in my second year. I'm not the oldest, but I'm willing to, share the experience that I've got in my first year. So, just taking those guys under my wing and, getting them ready to do it.
You do feel older than you are.
Yeah.
Have you always been a little bit more mature? Like, is that like a thing you've heard from people?
Yeah, for sure. Just trying to, like you said, try to take the mature route. I don't know. I've just always been like that. But I feel like it helps me in my preparation. It helps me, block in when I get out there, when I'm learning and all that. So that's kind of how
I asked you a lot about second year on the field, transitioning to new system, all that stuff. What about like just life in general? In terms of last year was the draft process, figuring out where to live, like all this other stuff. Like now you're established. Like, did it feel different this offseason when you're much more comfortable?
For sure. Like you said, coming out of college is kind of nonstop, just training, getting ready. This year you can kind of, you get, we're here, so we get to learn. I get to, get in the playbook, learn. You got a lot more time by yourself. So what are you gonna do with that time? Are you gonna sit around and do nothing? Are you gonna work? In the off season is kind of where people get challenged. Are you gonna, get better? Are you gonna try to get better? Or are you gonna get complacent? And for me, it was just trying to always be better, trying to always be here around guys that were here, and continue to just get that steady improvement.
Do you ask him for advice on that? Like, how do you handle the downtime? Like, you work all summer, do you have to take time off? Like, is that something you saw advice about?
Yeah, for sure. I went to Coleman was the first person I went to because he'd been here for a minute. You definitely you can take a break, you can take time off, but you don't want to make it like a 4-week break, whatever. So just take a little bit of time off and you come back and you get to work because you got to get ready for camp, you got to get ready for this and that. So it's better to do it in your downtime than try to come back and try to catch up with people might be ahead of you.
Well, people say the game slows down here in 1 year or 2. How did that slow down for you, and in what way did it?
I would say just understanding. Your first year you come in, your brain's all over the place. Like, I gotta get this block perfect. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. What do I got on this play? It just slows down in the sense of you just go out there and you execute. Understanding that now is practice. This is the time where you can, make mistakes. You don't want to, but you can. You can go back and watch it. And you can correct it, and you can continue to get those reps each day. So just understanding it from the point of I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do my assignment. I've been studying my assignment. I'm going to do it to my full ability. I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to come back and correct each thing I can each day.
How does the mental come into play when you're feeling, like you said, a competitive edge when you go in there? Like, how much of the game time is mental versus physical?
I feel like it's 90% mental. Like most of it is mental. Because if you know where to be, most times than not, you can get your job done. If you don't know where to be, then like I said, you're not going to get your job done. So just knowing the right spots to be in, knowing your assignment, and the physical part is just taking care of itself.
That's good.
Yep.
Thank you.